and welcome to today's episode of Habaita. I am so excited today to be joined by the amazing Dr. Lihi Rachelson, who is the co-founder and CEO of Bell AI. Now, can I call you Lihi?
Yes, of course.
First of all, welcome. So I understand that you have your doctorate in data science.
Yes.
Wonderful. Maybe you can just share with me how you started that journey. It's not, I mean, now everybody's, moving towards AI and data science, but when you first thought of it, how did that come to you? Like, I need to do this. I'm just so curious.
Yes, absolutely. So actually, it was, like I was working in a high-tech company, and one of their problems was something relates to optimizations and stuff like that. And I was already I wanted to start doing my MA, and I didn't know what to do. Like what is this the thing that I want to do the most? And this is actually worked perfectly for me because it was interesting for me to start searching and learning about deeper about data science. That was the MA, and they actually fully supported that. And after that, it was actually to the PhD, it was quite a very, like natural things to do, just to continue and research more and dig more and work on much, like scalable things. So like you are just sometimes, like it wasn't something that I was dreaming of from since I was a little kid or something like that. It was just something that doing what I did just, like forced me to run
Keep going.
faster and
Yeah, you probably saw such. I mean, I know I'm a data nerd. I don't have a PhD in data science, but a lot of the technology I built is all around optimization and data analysis. And the job that I do every day is analyzing data. And my son actually started a degree in Hebrew University in that area as well. It's like statistics and data science. And it's such a fascinating field, especially now with AI. But I'm just thinking like pre-AI, what you now know, and to be able to bring it to the AI world is incredible. So tell me a little bit about Bell, what you guys do, how you came up with it. I would love to hear your story.
So first of all, thank you for letting me the opportunity to tell my story. I will ask you something. How
Sure.
many times did you went to a store, parked, drove to a store and then parked your car there and then went to a store to find something very pretty to dress to specific occasion or not, just, like to find something? And you found it. You find something very, very beautiful, and then you want that, but they don't have it in your size.
It's the worst.
It is happening offline and online. It is happening here in Israel and
Yes.
actually all around the world.
For
You needs to be in place when the customers are arriving and wants to just purchase it, and that's it. Out of stock is one of the biggest problems.
Not that they don't have the color that I want and the size
Yeah.
that I want. Yes, for sure. I know that pain well. And especially when you're spending so much time, whether it's online or in store, finally finding something that works for whatever the event is or whatever you need it for, and then you cannot get it. It is it's exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting.
Exactly. And more than that, I will tell you more than that. Like the business is even a more losing more than even the customers because he's losing the purchase itself. He is losing the client because in many of the cases, more than 60% of clients just will leave the
Yeah.
store and will buy, if even if not the same item, another item in another store because there it
Sure.
was.
Yeah.
So just to give you some numbers, out of stock in a problem is almost $2 trillion problem for retailers. And this is where we stepped in, like me and my
Okay.
co-founder, Raviv. He's an expert in retail, domain expert, and all his expertise coming from retail. And I'm bringing the data science and the optimization and the prediction uh, um, knowledge. And this is where we, collaborate and solving one of the biggest problems. The thing is that this problem that we just mentioned is not starting, it's not something that you can just solve by, bringing more information to sorry, products to the store, specific store that you stepped in, because it is happening a long time before. I will
Mm,
explain.
okay.
Most retailers are doing currently now the demand forecasting, the planning, and the execution, the procurement to September.
Planning in March for September.
Yes. So if they haven't brought the right amount to the warehouses, it will probably never work to fill the correct amount to the correct stores. It's
Okay.
just won't work.
For the time that it takes to order
Yes.
and ship it and, bring it in. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they really have the planning has to start very early in advance, but how do they know how much to order of each, right?
Exactly. What they are doing currently is they're doing something more statistical wise, meaning that they are calculating in average how much they were selling this month and last month and how much. Okay, so they have their guts feeling and they feel that this is a very good item and they will order 20% more. Not like another item that they feel it's not a very good item, they will
Yeah.
purchase only 5% more. But those numbers are just, I will call it educated guess, but they are not accurate guess. Accurate calculation, because when you are the current, the current match percentage of what they are
Yeah.
planning versus what they needed is around 64% match. With Bell AI, they can reach 88% and much more in accuracy.
Okay.
So, but I will tell you more than that. The problem is in most cases losing their best sellers, because their best sellers is those that they are losing the most. And there it's very important to understand every day at every location, retail or wholesale, what you are selling. But more important is to understand what you could sell if there was no inventory. And this is where we step in. I will tell you something very important. This is the first layer, because Bell AI is an agentic infrastructure for retail. And the thing is that we don't want only to compromise and to fix and to optimize and to predict the right amount, but we want agents to speak to another. So if you are a store manager and you're just arriving this morning, good morning, to your TLV store, the truck already waiting for you. You didn't need to do anything. You didn't need to call or to send invitation or inventory management to just say, okay, I need to fill this and this and this item. No, nothing need to do by you. It's going to work autonomously from warehouse to your store based on the prioritizations. And so the agents will understand the business need, the store need, the product need, the customers needs.
But so are they continuously making those new orders? Or like you said, the orders need to start months before and be in the country, let's just say in Israel, for example, right? Where not everything is produced here, right? So it needs to be ordered and in the warehouse, and then that combination between communicating to the warehouse and to the store is all done automatically.
Absolutely. It
Got
needs to be ordered in advance, but it
yeah.
needs to be fulfilled in the
Filled,
right
yeah.
order, in the right
Yeah.
time.
So how do you
And
do that with a product that is new? Let's say obviously every season they come
amazing.
out with new products, right? So this new sweater wasn't sold last year. It's a new and there's new colors, every year that they're coming out with that these are the in colors that everyone's going to be buying. So how do you predict that? I can understand based on the data in terms of predicting the sizes that you're going to need. But what if there's a new style, or something that was on the runway that they're trying to replicate now? How do they know that that's going to be sold and that these new colors are going to be sold?
Absolutely, a great question because not because just because it's what bother the retailers the most, the new items, the new collections, and this is where like data science step in because what we do currently is based, by the way, on another startup that we done in the past, similarity. The thing is that currently new items are being, like they estimate how much they're going to sell based on again it's feeling, and
Yeah,
if it's a green or blue shirt. Okay, we had a blue shirt before. Let's purchase the same amount. Let's
right.
order the same amount.
Yeah,
But it's not working like that. It's a similar. You need to understand all the attributes of this item from one hand, and actually 3 years back collections and everything. So this blue shirts not always replacing a blue shirt from last
right.
season. It can be the same behavior as two collections before or eight collections
Mm,
before. But more
okay.
than that is that we collect outside information like trends and weathers and colors and the
And you can show them as well, okay, this is what we predict for next season. These are the colors based on the trends and the styles based on the trends that are selling the most outside of your store, maybe like across the country, I would assume, because it's very different per country, the different styles and colors, right?
exact
Yeah. So then you're predicting that. And so that also helps them make better purchasing decisions based on the data. How
absolutely
how are they doing that now? Like I just remember old school. There used to, I just remember this from working with the clients in this space. There used to be like a buyer, and the buyer would go to all these trade shows, and all the fashion designers would be at the shows, and they would be showcasing their designs, and they would choose what they were going to buy. Is that still what's happening now?
exactly.
That was like
Retail.
15 years ago. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Exactly. I will tell you more than that. Actually, retail is one of the industries that stuck in the past. They have all the data in the world. They
Yeah.
actually be one of the strongest AI solutions, but they are working like 15 years ago. I will tell you more than that. Exactly. So if the person that went, the buyer has his own style, his own like preferences and stuff like that. So it will be his or her way of looking
No
on things.
preferences. Yes.
By the way, and this is why when you are stepping into a brand in summer, you see amazing collection and you want to buy everything. And then 1 year after, you step into the same brand and everything looks, okay, what the hell was happening here?
Yeah.
Just by choosing the wrong collection
The
and don't
wrong
understand
questions.
that this
Yes.
is, yes, that's not your customer, client,
Yes.
preferences. You
Right.
need
And you
to
would
understand.
hope the buyer would know and is trained on their buyer's preferences and not their personal preference. Just like an interior designer will have their
Yes,
own personal preferences, but you have to listen to the clients of what they like, right? So you would hope that. But there's one thing to go on, oh, this is what I think as a human, I think our buyers would like versus this is what the data is showing me our buyers will like. So I totally understand that. And does
and this
this
is
also work for e-commerce? Can this
yes,
work
yes,
for
absolutely.
e-commerce? Okay, because that's
Online and
huge.
off, absolutely. I will say that from the online, we gather much more data because in online, lot
All the mouse actions and all of that.
yes,
Yeah. How long they're
what you have
spending on a page. Yeah, we work with a lot of clients in this space that work with all the Shopify e-commerce stores. So I'm,
exactly.
yeah, very familiar with that. But I also think, even for Amazon sellers, this could be great as well. Like they're looking at what I wonder if okay, let's talk about Amazon for a second, because that's a whole world in and of itself. And I actually have a client in this space that helps Amazon sellers with their marketing. I wonder, are you able to come to them and say, like, there's a lot of people in Israel and it's actually a really good idea and a business idea for entrepreneurs that want to make aliyah and start something in Israel is to start your own Amazon kind of drop shipping store, right? Because you don't need to actually warehouse the inventory, right? You can figure out what you want to sell, buy it and sell it, right? So I'm just wondering, would this help someone like that to say, okay, what are the trends on Amazon that people are buying outside of Amazon? What type of products, what to stay away from, what you'll have the highest margins on? Just curious, can it do that?
First of all, absolutely. We
Okay,
started by,
so cool.
yes, absolutely, Amazon, and it's a huge market. It's a huge opportunity. We started by reaching out retailers, like like beauty retailers, and it's the next step will be to reach out to like like ERP
Yeah,
companies and
yeah,
Amazon
for
and
sure.
other, just a
Yeah,
plug and play solution.
you need plug. Do you have
Absolutely.
Shopify? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Shopify
yeah.
is a big one for you. The plug, because they're all into plug and play. So just being on the Shopify marketplace is going to be huge for you. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. I think that the opportunities are endless in this
yeah,
specific industry,
for sure.
specifically because they're still working
In the old
old-fashioned
way.
way.
Yeah,
Yes, I will say that it's very important to understand that they won't be able to step into the agent and agentic solutions and abilities without understanding for real their data without,
mm,
being to do this mid processing of everything to make sure you understand your losses, to quantify loss of sale, to predict new item, to understand the different sell channels and the effect on on your next purchases, to get signals of alerts of, okay, loss of sales, okay,
yeah, yeah.
you're going to be off, please repeat the order you just so everything, all this mid-level information is critical in order to go to the agentic world.
That's amazing. That's
And
really, I love it. And it totally makes sense. And I'm just curious, when did you come up with this idea? Was this your idea?
yes, actually, I'm telling you, it's like a thing that it's so obvious. I don't understand why.
No, it's a great idea when you're like, why has no one else done this? Then you know you've hit something, right? But not everyone is a doctor of data science that can actually come up with the solution to say, okay, now I'm going to use my data science PhD and figure out how to solve this problem in the marketplace. And it's a global problem. It's a global
Absolutely.
problem that helps. And what I love about it is that it helps both the shoppers and the stores themselves. So it's both B2B and B2C benefits, right? Because the
Absolutely.
shoppers don't have that frustration and the buy and the companies don't lose their sales, right? And so they're able to,
Absolutely.
also measure everything, have things run and in a more, smooth way. So I think it's incredible. So tell me, like, where are you now in terms of your life cycle? Are you already live in stores?
Yes, yes, yes. We started 2.5 years ago. We already have paying clients, and very satisfied one, by the way, still with us. They are just asking more and more things because obviously when you understand the abilities of AI, when you understand the abilities of like smart systems, you just can't hold you
Right.
want more. So first of all, this is where we stand, raising now additional funds, and we
Okay,
we want,
wonderful.
yes, we have collaborations with two of the most biggest ERP companies locally, and that's it, like we are running slower than the
That's a dream.
crazy.
That is an entrepreneur's dream. Yes, that's
Yes, I
amazing.
know, no, it's not a dream, it's very hard.
But it's more stressful to not have your product or service in demand. The fact that it's in demand shows that you've hit such a pain that it's so needed and everybody wants it. And now it's just about fulfilling that need. So really that comes from funding, right? So once you close
Yes.
your funding and you're able to expand and be able to, meet that demand, you'll be on fire. So amazing. I love it. I love it. Lee, it's
Thank you. Thank you very
wonderful.
much.
It's
And I'm
wonderful.
telling you, it's the thing is with our solution is the bottom line. We know
Yeah.
now to bring, like more revenue with
Yeah.
efficiency of
Yeah.
reducing out of stock of your best
Yeah.
sellers,
Yeah.
reducing overstock. because you cannot just, like uplift everything in
For sure.
10% because
That's
it's
as well.
uplifting the overstock as well. So, and like we know how to bring a 7%, at least 7% more revenue on top of their expectation. And it's amazing because they already pay for, like for the stores and for everything. So it's just, like additional revenue, which is the best case for retailers.
Absolutely. And I wonder also if this does help their reduce their returns as well, because you're able to predict as well what products are, have the highest return rates, right? I'm sure that's also built into this, which is a big pain, for a lot of retailers right now is yes, okay, this is our revenue, but then we have to do this reconciliation for all the returns and what items will have the higher returns. Maybe this type of style will have higher returns, right? Or this color, right? So that's also super interesting as well.
Absolutely. I will tell you that it's very interesting because today morning I had a meeting with one of our biggest clients, and we just saw that they are selling X, like X number from a specific item. It doesn't really matter, but we saw that in one store there is a huge amount of returns. While they are not taking that into account in the planning, in the current manual demand forecasting and planning and execution, we know how to that this is an item that not only sell good but also return a lot. So you don't need just to purchase more and
Don't
more
need to
because
have
it
an inventory.
yes,
Exactly. No, that's
because
really,
amazing because the returns happen sometimes.
yeah. Sometimes it depends where in which countries. Certain countries are strict about that, right? But in the US, there's some places where you can return months later, right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. And they
yeah,
don't take it into account. So they just think, okay, wow, we did amazing sales. Let's purchase 8,000 more items. And that's it. And they stuck with it because people, like it's a matter of people are writing on that and the
yeah,
sales are dropping and they
right,
don't
right.
get it on time.
It's
It's a
unbelievable.
it's a
Yes,
time issue. You need
for
the
sure.
signals immediately. You
And
cannot
but
just
all
wait.
data, you have the data signals of the timing, so you just need to bring that in and show that per item, per size, per like the way that you can break down the data is, I'm sure, a way that they're not doing it right now. So
No,
that's
no.
that's really, really amazing. And so which countries are you in right now? Are you primarily in Israel?
Yes, primarily we are in Israel because it's easier to like just
Yeah,
drive where
yeah,
the location and speak with them, and they immediately understand and
right.
go with us. We also started a few POCs outside the country. It's just, like a start. We are this year, our goal is to start, like a work with United States and Europe also, specific countries, not just,
Yeah.
uh,
This is my
so this
passion.
is what,
My passion, Lihi, is taking these incredible Israeli ideas and bringing it to the rest of the world. I love having it in Israel. Don't get me wrong. We get it
no,
first.
no,
We're
no,
like,
no. I
we
understand
get it
you.
first, right? But the fact that you can bring this to the rest of the world is phenomenal. So, Lee, thank you so much for joining Havaitza. This was such a great conversation. I really love what you're doing and wish you only the best.
Thank you so much. I enjoy it the most and I could speak on my Bell AI forever.
For sure. But it was
I
great. It was very
thank
informative.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.